If you are watching this, this is a part 2 to the video that I made. I'm not sure what the title is going to be yet. But, of course, my recording app corrupted just as I thought it would. I even addressed it in the part 1. And I said if you don't hear the Lord's Prayer, the video's not over. So this is going to be a part 2. If you have not seen the part 1, please go back and watch it. Because the majority of the information that I wanted to get out is in that video. It's 51 minutes long. You have to watch that one because that's where the majority of everything is. And this video is just to finish up what that one, well, what I couldn't finish up then. So, again, if you are watching this, this is a part 2 to the video that I was trying to do, but then got corrupted. Please go watch that first, or you are going to miss some great information that you definitely need to know. So, this is a part 2. I have to reiterate this because half the time people don't watch the part 1, they'll just watch this, or they'll watch the part 1 and won't watch this. But, like I said, nonetheless, part 1, this is part 2, if you haven't discovered that by the title. So, let's get into it. Man killed by police. His home burned after SWAT team shows up over tall grass. Remember when people said that we don't live in a police state because, well, things like this would never happen? Well, here it is, a Waco Ruby Ridge style event in 2021. Austin, Texas. Because the state claims the ability to tell you what you can and cannot do with your own property, oftentimes we see utterly ridiculous government overreach for simple issues like tall grass. In the land of the free, people have faced insane fines, been arrested, and have even had the state attempt to steal their entire home over the length of their grass. Never, however, have we seen someone die because of it until now. So in 21st century America, we just get to kill people over tall grass. Yeah, that's acceptable. That's really acceptable. Okay, everything looks like it's still going good. Hopefully it doesn't corrupt again because I'll be very upset. This week, Austin police attempted to serve a warrant to a man whose grass was too long. It resulted in a standoff, shots fired, and a house fire, and that man's death. Sounds about right? Please go away. According to police, code enforcers showed up to his residence at 9:16 a.m. on Wednesday, served a nuisance warrant over his tall grass. Imagine that. Your grass is too tall, so they serve a warrant. A grass cutting crew was with the government agents, and they were prepared to forcibly mow the man's grass, but he never came to the door. After their attempts to contact the man failed, city workers began mowing his grass. An hour later, shots rang out from inside his home. Okay, listen. In reality, as a human being, if you want your grass to be 100 feet high, it's your grass. It's your property. You do what you want with it. Who cares if it doesn't look visually appealing to everybody else? You don't serve a warrant and go and bother this man until he's forced to do something very unreasonable. They immediately backed off of the staff that was working on the house to safety, and a SWAT team was called, initiated. Now, SWAT call was initiated for a barricaded subject. Austin Police Chief Joseph Chacon said. An area lockdown ensued after officers and a crisis negotiator attempted unsuccessfully to get the man to exit peacefully. An hours-long standoff ensued after their attempts failed. SWAT spent the next several hours trying to negotiate with the individual to just simply come out of the house, Chacon said. But the man did not come out. Instead, according to police, he began firing at officers, so they sent in a SWAT robot. At about 3 p.m., the residents started shooting at officers again. And because of that immediate threat, they made entry using a robot. Yeah, they say he was the immediate threat. They're the ones showing up over tall grass. They're the ones bothering and pushing this man over the edge. Okay, according to police. Now, this is important. According to police, the robot determined that the man had started a fire inside, but attempts to have him exit remained unsuccessful. Yeah, I believe that. The man started a fire inside of his own house. What exactly might have he been thinking? Come on. You can't possibly believe that this man set his own house on fire. Finally, after flames began to engulf the home, according to police, the man came out of the garage with weapons in his hand. That time, SWAT officers shot and struck the resident, who went down with a gunshot wound, Chacon said. That's another reason why I don't believe that this man started the fire inside of his own house. Because it forced him out. They started that fire to force him out. Are you kidding me with this? Austin police spokesperson Jose Mendez did not identify the man, who later died at the hospital. He only stated that he was a white man in his 50s. They attempted to cut the lawn for him, and this is the reaction they got, Mendez said. Yeah, they act like that's the reason, right? Okay, well, I'm going to get off of this because there's a lot of ads on here and it'll crash my thing again. So, basically, the guy was killed over tall grass, and they burned his house down with him inside to force him out and then shot him. The way I look at this, he was merely defending himself against government overreach. So, there's that. Moving on. Okay, if you remember the last video that I did, it was the video on the cognitive warfare program by NATO, and we only got like a certain way through, and I said that I would continue it, and I will continue that here now, but this is the headline because I got to go down into the article where we were. But if you have not seen that video, and it's titled NATO's Beyond Treasonous Cognitive Warfare Program or something like that, and it's toward the end, so you can skip like the majority of that video. Go to where I'm reading this and just listen to me read through this. Get down to the part that we are going to read here today because it's very long and I could not finish it in the last video. So, yes. So, the title is Behind NATO's Cognitive Warfare Battle for Your Brain Waged by Western Militaries. Again, I already read all this up here, so I'm going to go to the part now where we left off in the last video. Very important. Okay, I believe we were somewhere in here. I'm not going to go back and find exactly where I was, so I'm just going to start reading here. So, cognitive warfare is a new type of hybrid warfare for us, Bonvie said. And it means that we need to look at the traditional thresholds of conflict and how things that are being done are really below those thresholds of conflict, cognitive attacks, and non-kinetic forms and non-combative threats to us. We need to understand these attacks better and adjust their actions and training accordingly to be able to operate in these different environments. Again, if you haven't watched the first part of this, please go watch that because the majority of the article it explains what this is, and I just wanted to get through the rest of this because most people that are here remember the part 1 and they just want me to get through this, so. Although he portrayed NATO's actions as defensive, claiming adversaries were using cognitive warfare against them, Bonvie was unambiguous about the fact that Western militaries are developing these techniques themselves to maintain a tactical advantage. Yeah, that makes sense. Somebody else developed it first and were using it on NATO, so they had to develop it so they can use it back. That's not real life. No, that didn't happen. We could not lose the tactical advantage for our troops that we're placing forward as soon as it spans not only tactically but strategically, he said. Some of those different capabilities that we enjoy all of a sudden could be pivoted to be used against us. So we have to better understand how quickly our adversaries adapt to things and then be able to predict where they're going in the future. to help us be and maintain the tactical advantage for our troops moving forward. Cognitive warfare is the most advanced form of manipulation seen to date. Marie-Pierre Raymond, a retired Canadian lieutenant colonel who currently serves as defense scientist and innovation portfolio manager for the Canadian Armed Forces Innovation for Defense Excellence and Security Program, also joined the October 5th panel. Long gone are the days when war was fought to acquire more land, Raymond said. Now the new objective is to change the adversary's ideologies, which makes the brain the center of gravity of the human, and it makes the human the contested domain and the mind becomes the battlefield. This brings Sun Tzu's art of war to a whole new level. This brings the ultimate art of war, to subdue your enemy without fighting, to a whole new level. When we speak about hybrid threats, cognitive warfare is the most advanced form of manipulation seen to date, she added, noting that it aims to influence individuals' decision-making and to influence a group of individuals on their behavior with the aim of gaining a tactical or strategic advantage. Raymond noted that cognitive warfare also heavily overlaps with artificial intelligence, big data, and social media, and reflects the rapid evolution of neurosciences as a tool of war. And you thought this was about making our lives easier. Raymond is helping to oversee NATO Fall 2021 Innovation Challenge on behalf of Canada's Department of National Defence, which delegated management responsibilities to the military's Innovation for Defence Excellence and Security program where she works. In a highly technical jargon, Raymond indicated that the cognitive warfare program is not solely defensive, but also offensive. This challenge is calling for a solution that will support NATO's nascent human domain and jumpstart the development of a cognition system within the alliance, and that will support the development of new applications, new systems, new tools, and concepts leading to concrete action in the cognitive domain. She emphasized that this will require sustained cooperation between allies, innovators, and researchers to enable our troops to fight and win the cognitive domain. This is what we are hoping to emerge from this call to innovators and researchers. Think about that. Sustained cooperation between allies, innovators, and researchers. Sounds like world government body, scientific dictatorship, a continuation of what's going on here. The focal point of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the conquering of the human being himself. Come on. To inspire corporate interest in the NATO Innovation Challenge, Raymond enticed applicants will receive national and international exposure and cash prizes for the best solution. She then added, tantalizingly, this could also benefit the applicants by potentially providing them access to the market of 30 nations. And Canadian military officer calls on corporations to invest in NATO's cognitive warfare research. The other institution that is managing the Fall 2021 NATO Innovation Challenge on behalf of Canada's Department of National Defence's Special Operations Forces Command. Canadian military officer who works at Kansov Com, Shekhar Gauthi, was the final panelist in the October 5th NATO Association Canada event. Gauthi serves as Kansovcom's Innovation Officer for Southern Ontario. He concluded the event appealing for corporate investment in NATO's cognitive warfare research. The biannual Innovation Challenge is part of NATO Battle Rhythm, Gauthi declared enthusiastically. He noted that in the spring of 2021, Portugal held a NATO Innovation Challenge focused on warfare in outer space. Spring 2020, Netherlands hosted a NATO Innovation Challenge focused on C-19. Gauthi reassured corporate investors that NATO will bend over backward to defend their bottom line, and I can assure everyone that the NATO Innovation Challenge indicates that all innovators will maintain complete control of their intellectual property. So NATO won't take control of that. Neither will Canada. Innovators will maintain their control over their IP. Well, I don't believe that because they can use cognitive warfare, as explained to us in this whole thing, and, well, It can make these people forget that they ever even invented it. Right? I mean, you guys were reading along with me. So you guys know too. And I'm going to link this one in here as well. I linked it in the last one and we went through the whole first part. So the idea is to, conquer the human mind. Conquer the human being so you don't have to get your hands dirty. The comment was a fitting conclusion to the panel, affirming that NATO and its allies in the military-industrial complex not only seek to dominate the world and the humans that inhabit it with unsettling cognitive warfare techniques, but also to ensure that corporations and their shareholders continue to profit from these imperial endeavors. Okay, so look at all this reading we did. Actually, let's go back down so we can go through. This is why you got to go back to the part 1. Here, wait. Okay, check it out. All this information in here. And this is why I couldn't finish it in the last one either, because it's a whole lot of reading. Look at that. Look at that. Very, very, very important. This is absolutely ridiculous. That's a lot of reading right there. And they're just being open about all of this too. That's the crazy part. They're being open about all of it. And they're like, yep, this is what we're doing. So you can just get in line or don't. And either way, we're going to do it because, we're the new world government. We got power over everything. And you have no way to fight back. Look at all that. Look at all this reading, guys. Wow, we really went through all of this. But if you did not watch the part 1 of this video, not the one where I did the behind NATO's cognitive warfare in the last set of videos or whatever, but the video that we're on right now, the part 1 of this that was uploaded just prior to this one, please go back and watch it. It's about 51 minutes long. It is the majority of this video, and it's very important. That's where most of the information is. There's a lot of stuff in this that actually goes with this. So, yeah. Let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and glory, forever and ever. Amen.